I have been an AMC Stubs A-list member for over 5 years now, and I thought it'd be a fun idea to go back and try and figure out how much money I actually saved using the service. This video is also coming out on the 5-year birthday of this YouTube channel, the official birthday. Thank you to everyone that's been watching up to this point. I really appreciate it. Alright, let's get started. The first movie I saw using my A-list was the first Shazam movie back in 2019. For the purposes of this experiment, I'm going to be tracking from that day, which was April 9th, 2019, to April 9th of this year, which is a perfect 5-year gap. The last movie I saw in this range was Problemista earlier this year. I should also specify that this experiment is only to see how much money I saved on tickets using AMC A-list. This does not include money I would get on rewards and snacks and all that stuff. I also thought this would be easier if I didn't factor in all the tickets I bought outside of A-list, either for special events at AMC or at other theater chains. This is strictly movies that I bought tickets for at AMC using my A-list. So first, I had to figure out how many movie tickets did I actually buy using A-list. This is actually the easiest part of this, because if you don't use A-list, what they do is when you first reserve your ticket using the app and using your subscription, not only do you see it in the app, but you also get an email receipt that shows you the movie that you're going to see, the time, the price, and all that stuff. This made it really easy to go back and account for all the movies I've seen in this 5-year range. All I had to do was go to my email, search AMC Stubs A-list, and most of them came up. Some of it took a little bit extra digging, but I was able to cross-reference it with what I saw in the AMC app. So the results of my first step of the process, I found that I spent money on 183 tickets using AMC A-list, but I technically only saw 180 movies because there are 3 exceptions. The first 2 exceptions are The Lighthouse and an early screening of Knives Out that AMC was doing back in 2019. In both of these situations, I basically missed the screening I was supposed to go to and had to buy additional tickets. The reason I'm including them is that I didn't cancel the original tickets, so they still count towards the amount of money I spent using A-list. That's also a good point I forgot to bring up. There were moments where some movies were repeats as I looked through my email because I had booked the tickets for one day at one time, and for whatever reason, I had to change it, which is another great thing about A-list, that it's easier to cancel and exchange and change to other times. In those cases, if I had canceled the ticket and bought a new one for a different date and time, I would go with that second one. I would not go with the first one because it was canceled, so it's no longer under my account. In the case of these exceptions, the reason I'm counting them is because those were never technically canceled, so they are still counting towards the amount of total money I spent using A-list. The third exception is Moonfall, which I tried to see in IMAX, and when I got to the theater, I actually made it to the screening. The projector wasn't working, so I ended up getting a free pass to see another movie afterwards. But again, I'm including it because even though I didn't actually see the movie, I still bought the ticket and it was not canceled, so it still counts towards the amount of money I spent on tickets using A-list. So with all that being added up, the total price of the tickets that I bought using AMC A-list is $2,372.06. During this time, there was also a huge gap because, of course, 2020 happened and a lot of theaters were closed, but it's still a lot of money. I still would say I go to the movies a lot, definitely a lot more than the average person. All right, and the next step, which was a little bit trickier, is to now get the total cost of the subscription that I paid over this 5 years. This part was trickier because the AMC app doesn't actually show you your full billing history when it comes to the actual subscription. It shows you how much your current plan is, but you cannot go back and look at your previous payments. I tried going to my bank account to see if it would actually show me those, but it only goes past a certain point. I couldn't go all the way back to 2019. I had to get creative and just do some research to figure out what was the cost of AMC Stubs A-list at different points. If you're not familiar, AMC Stubs A-list does have tiers based on where you live. Depending on where you live, you may spend more or less money because your state is included in the A-list subscription. For me, I live in Maryland, so I had to get the middle tier. When I first started using A-list, the price was $21.95 a month. Then again, in 2020, theaters shut down, so they actually paused AMC A-list subscriptions. So after March, I was not paying any AMC A-list, obviously, so most of 2020 doesn't count. I reinstated my subscription for A-list in April of 2021. From there, it was about the same price. In November of 2022, the price went up by $1, so now it's $22.95. A $1 increase is actually not that bad considering how much streaming services have raised their prices since they started, like significantly. When you add together all the months that I actually paid for my A-list subscription, the total is $1,093.55. And now the final step, to calculate my savings, I subtracted the amount of money I spent on A-list from the total cost of the tickets that I bought during my time using the service. And with that, we get the final number, the one we've been waiting for. I saved $1,278.51. That is a lot of savings. I saved about 54% on movie tickets over the last 5 years. This is also considering that I didn't even get to use it all of 2020. If I had used it all of 2020, I probably would have saved even more money and would have seen even more movies. Reminder, this does not account for the movies that I saw outside of my A-list subscription. This also doesn't take into account money I would have saved on snacks through the reward system, which is also really great. But I still think if you're someone that goes to the movies a lot, this is definitely worth buying, because I know the movies are really expensive for a lot of people, especially big families. Now, if you made it this far, thank you. I do have a bonus for you. If you are someone that likes going to movies fairly casually, but you also don't think you do it enough to justify getting something like A-list, I do have a few more options for you on how you can save money going to the theaters in 2024. Number 1, Discount Tuesday and matinees. Even if you use the free AMC Stubs account, you are still able to go to Discount Tuesdays and go see movies at a matinee. Usually before 4 o'clock, you get cheaper tickets. There's also discounted tickets for seniors, children, of course. AMC also brings back some old movies or movies from earlier in the year as $5 fan favorites. And that's another great way to save money, because you can just wait to see a movie later when it comes back, or go see a movie that you haven't seen in theaters in a while or ever, and you still don't have to pay that much money. Other theaters also do these kind of discount things, so depending on where you are, your theater probably has something similar, but I just know AMC because that's the one I go to the most. Another big way that you can save money on tickets without having to get one of these subscription services is buying tickets in bulk from places like Costco. A lot of people might not know this, but you can actually go to Costco and get tickets in bulk. They have these packs where you can get 2 tickets and a $20 gift card, I think, for snacks. That, I feel like, is also a great way because you can just buy your tickets together. Now, the only downside to this is that I don't think you can actually use the tickets themselves in the app. You would have to physically go to the movie theater to get your ticket. And depending on what kind of screening it is, you may want to go in advance to try and make sure you get a seat. But I think it's still a great way to save money if you aren't trying to go all in on the A-list subscription or similar subscriptions from other theater chains. So this has been a fun adventure figuring out how much money I've actually saved using A-list, and I definitely enjoy using it so much. It's so easy to use, and it makes going to movies so much easier and so much cheaper. Again, you've seen it. I saved a lot of money doing it. This is not sponsored. I just like going to the movies a lot. If you are also an AMC A-list member, let me know your experience down in the comments. If not, but you have other ways to save money, also put that in comments for other people to see so we can all save money going to the theaters and keep theaters alive. Thank you again to everyone that's been watching my channel over the last 5 years. If you want to watch more videos like this, you can look at this one that YouTube is suggesting to you right here, or you can hit subscribe to see when I release new videos. Till then, thank you, and see you in the next one.